If you were alive in the mid to late 1990s, there's no way you missed Breckin Meyer's memorable heyday in Hollywood. From Clueless, where he played the role of a delightfully earnest skater boy, to Road Trip, where he will forever be remembered as the sweetest guy ever to cheat on his girlfriend on video, Meyer was blessed with great comic timing and a totally winning brand of regular dude charm.
So unexpected, I didn't even have a speech prepared.
Why then isn't he in the movies anymore? Hang tight as we investigate. He peaked in the 90s. Much like Weezer, Orange Julius, and the Delia's catalog, Breckin Meyer is very much a 90s brand, and while he did continue to pop up on screen after the turn of the 21st century, his memorable turns in movies like Clueless, Can't Hardly Wait, and The Craft made him forever synonymous with a certain archetype of vintage teenhood. Not only are these decades-old films still the ones he's known best for, but Meyer's persona and aesthetic was so totally at home in the 90s that he's practically an icon of the era. Great news for a cult classic reunion tour, but not so helpful when it comes to landing roles in contemporary Hollywood. Not their type. At a trim 5'5" and with the ageless tanned complexion of so many Los Angeles dudes, Breckin Meyer is still too youthful looking to be convincing as a middle-aged dad type on screen. At the same time, at 42, he's too old to play a teenager. That doesn't mean he's entirely out of luck, especially in comedy, where you don't have to be George Clooney to headline a hit movie, but it does narrow the field when it comes to what kind of roles he can reasonably pursue. Heard and not seen. If Breckin Meyer doesn't show up on screen much these days, it might be because he's already got all the work he can handle as a voice actor. Meyer has been a major presence on the stop-motion animated series Robot Chicken for the entirety of its 7-season run, as well as playing Joseph Gribble on King of the Hill between 2000 and 2010. And more recently, you might have heard him on Supermansion. With so many characters in need of his vocal talents, does Breckin Meyer even need to make movies? Upstaged by Garfield. Whether it's a trio of chipmunks or an iconic orange cat, starring opposite a cartoon animal can be a risky career move. For Breckin Meyer, signing onto the Garfield franchise was perhaps, in hindsight, not the greatest decision. Not only was Meyer's charm totally wasted in the bland role of John Arbuckle, but after making one movie, he was then contractually obligated to appear in a sequel called Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. If ever there were such a thing as a title that could kill a career, well, you know. Flippity flopped. It's been nearly a decade since Breckin Meyer made a feature film, and even longer since he starred in one. But the most recent movies on his resume haven't exactly been hits. From Ghosts of Girlfriends Past to Stag Night, Meyer's projects aren't earning critical or commercial success. In many cases, they're barely even being distributed. And when they do find an audience, the response tends to range from tepid to downright insulting. His last feature-length movie, a mockumentary called Three Geezers, in which Meyer played a satirical version of himself, was derided by the few critics who even bothered to review it as terrible, painful, and remarkably unattractive looking. Ouch. Celebrity insomniac. If a good night's rest is essential to being camera ready, it's no surprise that Breckin Meyer isn't turning up on screen lately. The actor is probably the most famous insomniac on Twitter, where he can frequently be found between the hours of 1 and 5 o'clock a.m., composing poetry about his inability to sleep. Despite feeling sorry for his struggle, we also selfishly hope he doesn't get a prescription for Ambien, because his feed is hilarious. The producer path. Many actors who got started on the young side find success behind the camera later in life, but Breckin Meyer's brief foray into creating a series from scratch with the TBS comedy Men at Work didn't pan out as he hoped. The show had a cute premise and a talented cast, including that 70s show alum Danny Masterson, but it never found its audience. Instead, it was canceled by the network after 3 underwhelming seasons, and Meyer didn't make a second attempt at a producing career. Primetime hopes dashed. The most adult and serious role of Meyer's career was on the TNT legal comedy drama Franklin and Bash, where he played the titular Franklin opposite Mark Paul Gosselaar. Unfortunately, not even the draw of a 1990s icon and a Saved by the Bell heartthrob could keep the series afloat long term. The New York Times summed it up best with a middling review that declared, "The problem is that Franklin and Bash themselves are resolutely uninteresting." And after its 4-season run concluded, the show wasn't enough of a hit to launch a renaissance for Breckin Meyer on primetime. How he can turn it around. In truth, Breckin Meyer may not need or want to make any big changes to his professional life. He's got plenty of work as a voice actor and plenty of energy left to goof off for his fans on Instagram. But if he's keen to get back in front of the camera, he's still a solid supporting actor. And he's got lots of friends in Hollywood, including Seth Green and Mark Paul Gosselaar, who he can collaborate with on the kind of lighthearted comedic films he's always been so good at. Meyer might not be a 6-foot chiseled dreamboat, but he's still in great shape and has an adorable face that would make him a great addition to one of Hollywood's signature ensemble romances. Might we suggest a Clueless sequel? Thanks for watching. Click the Nicki Swift icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.